Hi, Liang.
Hey, look, how are you?
Very good. I know you're going to publish a book. So let's talk about your new book, okay?
Great, love to.
The title of the book is Grandfather is Going to Die. Very interesting. I wonder why you gave it this title. Is this a book about death?
Yes, no, it's not. Not at all, actually. It's a book about life. And why we picked this title, Luke, is because, really, story. My grandfather died when I was 15. And he was sea captain, retired, of course. And his house was absolutely filled with bric-a-brac from around the world, you know, exotic. And it smelled of sandalwood, because there's some sandalwood chests from, I think, India or something. And he said to me, just before he died, Leon, remember that the world respects a strong man. And I really didn't understand him until later, what he meant, of course, that the world respects someone who's strong-willed, astute, intellectually alive, that sort of thing, right? And so I came to realize that my grandfather is physically dead, but his memories live on. So that's why we've entitled it, you know, Grandfather's Going to Die, because he's going to, but his wisdom will stay with us.
Oh, I see. Very good. Now, let me ask you some questions about your first article, okay?
Sure.
It's called Celebrating Graduation Day, the Beginning. In your article, you say it's essential to recognize the fact that every individual is unique. Why is this important?
Well, Luke, it's a good question, you know. We are bombarded, they say, according to adworld.com and sites like this, they claim that we're bombarded every day with around 78,000 bits of data, right? And images about who you should be, what you should drive, how you should think, etc., etc. So there's a big push against integration of the self, right? Especially when you're young. So the reason it's so important to realize that you are an individual, because it consolidates you, right? And you realize that no one can do you, as they say, better than you, because there never has been anyone like you, ever. There never will be once you're expunged. That's why you have to realize the uniqueness of you. That's not meant to be vanity. It's not meant to be, oh, I'm a movie star, none of these things. But I am precious in the world of, 7.4 billion people.
So are you saying that only when you know you are unique, will you try very hard to develop your potential to its utmost?
Well, look, I believe so. You know, that you have to realize that you're not part of the herd. You're you. And everything that exists in the world, you take in through your five senses, right? Everything, whatever it is. I mean, the classic question is, what was the first thing you knew this morning? You knew. And the answer, of course, is, I'm alive. Ah, wow. But how do I know it's me? Well, David Hume and people like this, they say, well, you know it's you because you have memories of yesterday. So, but I don't know if you're alive, Luke. Let's be honest. I have no idea. I think you are, but I know I'm alive, which makes me realize that I'm a gift of the cosmos, if you will, and I can do something individually in the world. Right?
So in your articles, you say in order to develop the beautiful you need to take action. But what if young people don't even know what they like?
You know, look, that is, once again, another good question, right? And it's the classic dilemma, isn't it? If you act, something changes, right? And if you don't act, nothing changes, but you still have the action of inaction, basically, if you will. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, who knows what they're going to do at 17 or 18? Very few people, honestly, right? You go to school, you have new exposure to new phenomena, right? And the reason I suggest action, because the minute you act, something will happen, good or bad, and then you can respond to that action, etc., etc. But if you do nothing, you have the action of inaction. Now, you should narrow your choices, of course. I mean, you do know what you like and what you're good at and what you think you could develop, and then you have to act on that. You might be wrong, Luke. I mean, life is filled with error. That's what makes life exciting. You have the opportunity to correct those errors, because we live a long time, right?
You suggest that young people can take action by finding a job and start, and they will become a wage slave for a period of time. What do you mean by a wage slave?
Well, when you begin your job, I mean, most young people now have not had a part-time job before they finish university. And when you finish university and you're such a beautiful and precious person to yourself, and you step out in the world and nobody cares. They don't care who you are. Many times they don't even really care about your degree very quickly. So you begin and you start to realize that they're paying you money for your time. So you are, by definition, a wage slave, right? So we have the classic model, right? We have an education plus experience. And people like Gladwell, I refer to him in the book, of course. People like Gladwell suggested we have as much as 10,000 hours in front of us before we gain some modicum of expertise. And with the expertise, that's the career, of course, you're free to do whatever you would like to do. And I think, what does that mean? Look, I think essentially that means that they can take it figuratively, if you will, take everything from you, you know, your clothes, your money, what have you, and yet you can still start again. So wage slavery is experience, essentially. It takes time. And it's irritating many times, you know, but it must be done. Failure to do it, you will suffer. The Steve Jobs are extremely rare examples in the world, unfortunately.
And at the end of your book, you said it's time for critical thinking. What does it have to do with taking action, finding a job?
Well, look, critical thinking. Yeah, we need critical thinking. Gosh, if we had more critical thinking, we wouldn't have the conflicts that exist in the world many times, I believe. Now, as beings, we're curious, you know, because we know that we're having a thought at the same time that we're thinking it, right? We can actually analyze the thought, right? Now, animals, my dog, for instance, doesn't have that trait. Food, lunchtime, let's go for it. But we can sit back and review our actions continuously, right? So critical thinking is the capacity to be able to think that you're having a thought, essentially, to analyze your moves, you know, and you have to do that. Otherwise, you're a robot. You're an automaton, right? And you just go through the steps of life. Most of us are given a model, right? Our socioeconomic situation with our families, right? Where we're born, what sex we are, what gender we are, you know, and away we go. And there's the model that you have to have until you retire, and upon retirement you have this golden life and you live a number of years and you die. But that's not reality. Certainly not for the millennials or post-millennials, right?
Can I say that this book is about promoting critical thinking?
I would say absolutely. Look, I mean, the concept of critical thinking, if you will, adumbrates the book, surrounds the book. And what we've done is we've tried to place a series of articles or stories, some of which I'm involved with, some of which other people are involved with, to show that it's a long life and it's an exciting life. Not always good, but conversely not always bad. But yes, you must think critically if you're going to end up and be successful. What is successful? Successful, I think, is the realization that we are naturally happy. We are naturally peaceful. We're naturally in a state of love, and of course we're naturally seekers. It's all Sadhguru, you know, the man I follow in India, and that's his thoughts. And he's right, absolutely. You don't have to seek happiness, it's here, but you must uncover the happiness or the peacefulness, right? Or the lovingness, if you will, or the curiosity. You must uncover. It's up to you. Critical thinking, absolutely.
Thank you for your answers. I hope your new book will be a big success. Let's talk about the next article next time, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Luke. Look, can I say just something very quickly? I'd like to point out that the book is a collective of great people. It's not just me, for sure.